planning on some upgrades to my office space, to my computer setup, to everything. So hopefully I'll be able to be on Twitch a bit more. You can follow me on YouTube as well. Kind of thinking I'll maybe stream over here and then publish videos over there, but whatever. Either way, I'm looking forward to growing both of these platforms and really just sharing more of what I do. So I finally figured out how to set up full screen share and all that kind of stuff. So really all I'm doing right now is just sharing what my workday is. So love to have you follow along. Those of you that haven't met me before, my name is Rebecca. I own Revision Custom Home Design in Billings, Montana. So I am an interior designer, but I focus on plans for new construction, remodels, all of that kind of stuff. I've learned that here in Montana, especially, the term interior designer doesn't always convey the full scope of what I do. A lot of people hear that and come to me at the end of the project and say, hey, help me find a sofa. Yes, I can kind of do that, but I would much rather draw up the plans for your house, fit that sofa in. So that's just kind of what I've been working on with my marketing. So that's kind of what all of this is about with the streaming and everything, in terms of just, letting people know what I do and how I can help them. So anyway, basically I'm just going to pop up my screen share here. I am working on a project, and actually I'm just about done with this. All I have to do on this one is throw it into a layout set so that I can send it over to the client to scale so she can see what's going on. And then I think I'm supposed to put together a materials board for this project. So this particular project, I'm just going to jump right on in. Let me know. So what I'm doing here is got this plan pulled up. This particular project is actually from a client who had some water damage. Either their fridge or their sink, something leaked, damaged the floor, and so they had to pull out the island already. Now, previously, I've got a couple. Previously, the island was just at a diagonal in this kitchen, and the homeowner is really not a huge fan of that. So since we had to rip out the whole entire island and we're redoing the floor anyway, we're looking at some ways to reconfigure the kitchen and give them a little bit better island in terms of functionality and the flow of the space. So she wasn't a huge fan of the angle, and we came up with two options, but honestly, after working out the second option, I really don't like this one. It's not as functional as I had hoped. So anyway, I'll zoom into this kitchen, and you can see, if you look at this, we've got sink and dishwasher, but you can see right away by looking at this, there's just no way that dishwasher is going to be functional. Yes, the door can open, and you technically could load the dishwasher, but if the door is open, on this dishwasher here, that's coming out almost 2 feet, which would be right about to where my cursor is. So you'd be standing there kind of like reaching like this to get your dishes out of the sink and into the dishwasher. That's not functional. Or if someone's trying to unload the dishwasher, well, then you can't use the sink. People would say, oh, we'll move the sink down to the end of the counter. Well, that's just stupid, because then where do you put your dirty dishes? Where do you have space for countertop? So I'm going to show her this option just to show her that it doesn't work. And then this is what I came up with. It still has the L configuration for the countertop, because we are doing a raised bar. But it keeps the sink and the dishwasher side by side, which is a way more practical application for this space. So that leaves 8 feet of dining room space. Not the greatest. Honestly, I probably should shrink this down just a tiny bit more before I send it over, and make this 12-inch cabinet instead of a 20 cabinet. It's not ideal. I definitely would like to have more space. I just am afraid that if we make it too much bigger, we're taking away too much space from where the dining room table needs the breakfast nook. Okay, so that gives us the space that we need for that breakfast nook, for all of this. Still gives a nice size island for both the function of using the island and having this raised bar in the L configuration that the client wants. And then the other thing that we did, and I should put the original plan here. In the existing plan, you'll see the fridge over here. There was a double oven on the wall next to the fridge, and then this was just a cooktop over here. The client would like to swap that, get rid of the cooktop, and actually have an all-in-one range, oven all-in-one, with the microwave above, which means that we can then shrink this full height cabinet, move the fridge over. Right now, this is like a 15-inch cabinet. It's totally useless in terms of countertop space, and really 15 inches is not much for a base cabinet either. So we're shrinking this, as you can see here, down to like a 12-inch wide cabinet instead of 30 inches wide. Move the fridge all the way over, and that makes this base cabinet 36 inches wide. So you've got a nice amount of countertop space that's actually usable. You've got a nice big base cabinet that's actually usable. And this 12-inch deep cabinet to the right of the fridge does two things. Number one, it provides a buffer on the edge of the kitchen, so it's not just like, hey, the fridge is in the middle of the living room. But also, that 12-inch cabinet is the perfect size if you do the pull-out drawers for things like cereal boxes and all that stuff that the kids are going to want to grab quick and easy, and not get in the way of the kitchen. So what I need to do now is open up a layout set. All right. And I don't usually use pages 1 and 2 very often, but for remodels, they kind of make sense. Kind of just like the project overview. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my existing pages again, send it to layout. It defaults at 1/4 inch. And I'm actually going to chop off part of this. In replacing the flooring in the kitchen, the flooring actually extends all the way through what you can see here, this living space, entry, dining, and even this hallway that goes down to bedrooms. So in replacing the flooring, we've got to replace all that flooring. So I had to get measurements on that, so that the client can take this to the flooring supplier and have those measurements available for it. So real quick, I'm just going to move this label over. Have those measurements ways. I don't need all this extra. Okay. And then I'm not going to worry. Sometimes with a remodel, I'll do like a little revision bubble around it. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to. It's not as confusing on this one. So, got the existing plan over here. Now we're going to go to. It's not as confusing on this one. This one, and this is the one we're going to send to layout. Again, 1/4 inch is the default. I'm going to trim this the same way. So I'm going to here. Again, 1/4 inch is the default. Here, the same way. So I'm going to here. Okay. Those two side by side. I'm actually up a little. Okay. Side by side. I'm actually up a little. And then this one, the one that I said didn't work, I'm just going to do basically a screen capture on this one so that I can show the client, hey, this is why this didn't work. On this one, so that I can show the client, hey, this is why this didn't work. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as a screenshot. Bad Island. There we go. But I like to communicate. I like to educate my clients and just explain, hey, I know we talked about this on site, but once I got into the computer and saw the actual dimensions, this is why this didn't work. Please trust me. So I'm going to go ahead and close that because I really don't need that one anymore. Now I need to just kind of make my layout page look nice and not confusing. So I'm going to use my text tool real quick. And caps lock. Existing plan. Label the scale. Copy and paste, and I'm going to use my cursor to kind of line it up. Proposed plan. And really it's really just those cabinetry details that are changing. And what's going to happen, the client's going to need this plan for two reasons. Number one, like I said, when they go to get a flooring estimate, and granted the flooring guy's going to want to come out and take their own measurements, but at least they'll be able to get a ballpark when they go into the store. They'll know the approximate square footage of what they're going to need. So we need that for that. Secondly, when we go to a cabinet place to help them find new cabinets for the kitchen, because we are changing the layout of the kitchen very subtly, the cabinet person is going to need to know what all we're doing, what the plan is, but okay. And they'll need to know also for selecting appliances. So we're not getting a new fridge. We will be needing to look for a new range oven. She has the old sink, so we might just reuse that. And then I believe the dishwasher is what leaked, so I imagine they're buying a new one of those. But maybe not. Okay, so existing, I really shouldn't need that anymore. Okay. Okay. So existing, save and close out of there. Now, then what I always do is a little thing, plan notes. So I'll get my text tool. So, new flooring. Flooring throughout main floor. Replace wall of. Okay, so one second. New flooring throughout main floor. Rearrange kitchen new cabinets. Under that, we'll tab and we'll do some bullet points. Eliminate wall ovens. Wall oven and cooktop. Replace with new range oven. Shift fridge to the right. Larger countertop on the left. New island, and I can't spell and talk at the same time. Okay, so new island with sink and dishwasher. Island to be framed with a half wall and then raised countertop at 42 inches. Standard countertop height is 36 inches, so that's where the sink and dishwasher and everything will be. And then there'll be an L-shaped half wall lifted up, and that's where the new countertop will go. So, new lighting. New light fixture over island. New light fixture in the dining room. Not in the breakfast nook, in the dining room. Okay, so real quick, we'll bullet point all this stuff. Not in the breakfast nook, in the dining room. Okay, so real quick, we'll bullet three items here. Need to. Oops. Yeah. Now, actually, hold on a second. Okay, so option one. Okay, so we're definitely gonna. Okay, so we actually have two options with this. So we actually have two options with this. So no matter what, we're doing the new island. No matter what, we're doing the new island. Okay, new island with sink and dishwasher. Island to be framed with half wall and raised countertop at 42. Yes. And both of these are going to happen. And both of these are going to happen. I always want to type normal, but I have to remind myself caps lock is on. I always want to type normal, but I have to remind myself caps lock is on. So bold, underline. Option number 2 is bold, underline. Option number 2 is new flooring throughout. Rearranging the kitchen, because option number 1, we're just going to leave the sidewalls alone. Rearranging the island. Option number 1, we're just going to leave the sidewalls alone. Option number 1 is paint existing. Paint the existing perimeter cabinet. Question mark. New paint color throughout. Paint floor. New paint color throughout. Option number 2 is also new paint color. So we're, some of these things are obviously going to be the same. Okay. Option number 1, flooring, possibly paint existing perimeter cabinets, new paint color, new island for sure, new light fixture. Option number 2, again, new paint color, new flooring, but rearranging the kitchen with new cabinets. Option number 2, eliminating, rearranging, doing all that kind of stuff. Rearranging the kitchen with new cabinets, and then new light fixture. Eliminating, rearranging. So you can see the main difference. Option number 1 is basically just doing what we have to do with the island and the flooring. Option number 2 is replacing all of it. Colors haven't been determined. Appliances haven't been determined. That's that. Colors haven't been determined. Appliances haven't been determined. That's that. That looks. So I just like my layout pages to look decent. Okay. So I just like my layout pages to look decent. Okay. And then on page 2, I'm just going to do a couple elevation views. I'm going to go back to my main floor plan here. And then on page 2, I'm just going to do a couple elevation views. I'm going to go back to my main floor plan here. And then what I want to do is wall elevate. And then what I want to do is first here, wall elevate. And for elevations, I always do 1/2 inch scale. I always do 1/2 inch scale. Again, 1/2 inch scale. Again, 1/2 inch scale. You don't need to see all. And then the island is the. And then the island is the. And again, this. You don't need to see all of this. And again, got to there. You don't need to see all of this. Okay. There's our 3 elevations. Got to there. A little better. Okay. There's our 3 elevations. Label them. We label this as elevation number 2. You see I using my cursor to kind of line everything. Number 3 is island. And I always label the island just because. Okay. So now heights don't matter so much. The side to side, I do want to show that. So that's actually something. Heights don't matter so much. The side to side, I do want to show that. So that's actually something. That's what I need to do on all three of these. Show. That's what I need to do on all three of these. Show. Here I'm gonna. Here I'm gonna. Auto dimension. Now, like I said, I don't need heights right now. Yes. And I don't need this overall dimension here. Heights right now. Yes. And I don't need this overall dimension here. I mostly just want to show the base cabinets. So, hang on. I mostly just want to show the base cabinets. So, hang on. I don't know why this is showing. So I'm going to delete this line. So I'm going to delete this line. Okay, yep, so that's what I need. And really, we'll leave that. Okay. Okay, yep, so that's what I need. And really, we'll leave that. Okay, perfect. And I don't need to know the location. So that over the wall. Actually, I don't even need to know that. I only need to. And I don't need to know the location. There we go. So I'm locating off of the corner of the kitchen where my dimensions are, and then this just shows my base measurements. So we go back to the layout. You'll see those measurements have now popped up here. So we go back to the layout. There we go. You'll see those measurements have now popped up here. There we go. Make that. Let's that on. Here we go. Again, auto. Now I don't need again the heights. Don't need that. Just need to come in here to the kitchen and measure out as far as my end here. Just need to come in here to the kitchen and measure out as far as my end here. Pulling all of my dimensions from this end. I don't need them, so I'm trying to get rid of them here. All of my dimensions from this end. I don't need them, so I'm trying to get rid of them. That door. So well, no, we don't want to do that. Okay, so it's good to have a little extra space. Honestly, it probably should be just a hair more. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, so it's good to have a little extra space. Honestly, it probably should be just a hair more. Because you need there to be wiggle room around a fridge. So there we go. So we've made our opening just a little bit wider so the fridge sits in there. We've still got plenty of space here on the side. So there we go. So we've made our perfect. Just a little bit wider. So again, going back to the layout. Yes, there's my dimensions. Let's lift that. Again, going back to the layout. And then let's lift that. Then we just gotta do this one. Auto. And get rid of heights. I'll manually put those heights back in just on a little bit that I need. So we don't really, again, I'm just measuring off of my corner just on a little bit that I need. So we don't really, again, I'm just measuring off of my corner. This back here is a pantry that is behind. We're just gonna go to this wall. This is a pantry that is behind. Off of this wall. I'm just gonna go to this wall. This is, and I don't even want off of this wall any of these little measurements. I just want, and I don't even want from this back wall, how far out does my island come? I just want from this back wall, how far out does my island come? 12, 36, 24. 12, does that measure 24? That to measure here. There we go, 18 and a half. And then at this point, I don't want any more of these measurements either, so there we go, 18 and a half. And then at this point, I don't want any more of these measurements either, so all right. Oh, so anyway, ordering those paint samples, I'll get that done. And then I think that's it. So did we print this one? Samples, I'll get that done. And then I think that's it. So did we print this one? Page 10. I've recently been updating my template, some of the different building things. So it's showing something. Not. That's what I need. And then I always, when I save the layouts, I always save the date because that way I can keep track of revisions. That way I can keep. Okay. Photoshop. And I am trying to. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess with construction debris. As you can see, a bit of a mess with. And I just put this up here in the construction reference to go off of. And I just put this up here. And then I need to get those paint samples. So 7624. Save this. As we had talked about painting the island of a blue color, and then she also wants to paint her fireplace. Talked about something on the island of a blue color. And she also wants to paint her fireplace. Something possibly a neutral color for the wall. Possibly a neutral color for the wall. Photoshop. Pop those in. And wow, those two are almost identical. And wow, I'm actually not almost identical. This is our possible. I'm actually not. This is our possible. Okay, so as you can see from this image, she's working with beige, wood tones, all that kind of stuff. We definitely want to update this. So we're looking at painting the island in a kind of a smoky blue color. So we're looking at painting actually called smoky. We're looking at repainting the walls away from that beige. Agreeable gray is a nice color because it still works with the wood tone. As because her doors in a lot of the house and the railings and everything are those wood tones. And then we'll be replacing the floor. So we need to find a flooring. I'm kind of thinking the dark is getting to her. She doesn't really like the dark. But she's afraid with the wood trim that she can't go to the light either. So I'm kind of thinking she'd be something with the wood trim that she can't go to the light either. Don't want to bring in too much because there's not a lot of that in there already. Don't want to bring in too much because there's not a lot of that in there already. Kind of like that. And this is just an approximate. It might still be just a little bit. Ooh, and this is just an approximate. It might still be just a little bit. Ooh, that's not too bad. Okay. I'm just going to do a screen capture on this. I'm not trying to look for the specific product right now. I'm just trying to find a color that I think would work well. That's not too bad. Okay. I'm just going to do a screen capture on this. I'm not trying to look for the specific product right now. I'm just trying to find a color that I think would work well. Add in, maybe for the and then I actually don't mind the chandelier that's there. We might just reuse that existing. But I do need to find a new chandelier for the front dining room. In that vein, we might just reuse that existing. But I do need to find back here for the front dining room. In that vein. Those two light fixture. So right now, what she has is a really old-fashioned kind of style version of this, where it's got the really swoopy arms and curly cues and everything. So we definitely want to go simpler. We like the very simple shape of the candle-looking ones that she's got. Curly cues and everything. So we definitely want to go. Just need to update that front dining room. Simple shape of the candle-looking ones. A little more. Just need to update that front dining room. A little more. Like that could be. We'll do a like that could be. We'll do a that one, and then that one, and then that one's not more modern, but we'll throw both of those into modern. But we'll throw both of those into modern. All right. Down just. All right. Down just. And we've got that and that. We've got colors. We've got flooring. It's kind of very lightly softening, slightly moving away from that. We've got colors. We've got flooring. Wood tone, that really kind of heavy wood tone there. A few different light fixtures, and then wood tone, that really kind of heavy wood tone there. Hardware's not bad. Light fixtures, fine with that. And then there's really nothing else. Oh, so countertop and backsplash tile. Fine with that. There's really nothing else. Oh, so need a countertop and backsplash tile. Need a, and I don't know that we need a crisp white. I don't want something with a lot of pattern. I think a lot of pattern. And we need a crisp white. I don't want something with a lot of pattern. I think a lot of pattern. And we'll give it a try. And that as a compartment. Backsplash. I think bringing in a little bit of the blue to make the island is going to be a nice, but we want to be really careful we don't end up in, I think bringing in a little busy or bathroom. A lot of the stuff is looking really bathroomy. Busy or bathroom. A lot of the stuff is looking really bathroomy. Or something like this, actually. That, I don't know, that might be a little busy. Or something like this, actually. That, I don't know, that might be a little busy. Not like that. We'll just show that as an option. No, this is still, it's a work in progress. We'll bring in materials that we think we like, and then let's play with them. We'll find the real world versions. So this is still, it's a work in progress. We'll bring in materials that we think we like, and then let's play with them. Find the real world versions. But because we want it to look like the space. That up. We want it to look like the space. Yeah, I think that's a good mix. Okay, go ahead and hit save. I think that's a good mix. Okay. Gotta save a JPEG version of it. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to end my stream because I've got to be heading out here in about 5 minutes for my next appointment. Thank you for anyone that tuned in. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm hoping to do more of these lives. This is the life of a designer. There's interruptions, there's ADD, there's 27 different directions that you're running. But it's a lot of fun. I love doing this because I can handle this. I enjoy this. My clients, they come to me because if they were to do this themselves, because it's not something they kind of get lost in the process. And so that's how I can help. So if you're all interested in learning more about the design process, in what I can do for my clients, in having me work on a project for this one's a little different, it's a model, but if you're looking for new home construction, I love to draw plans. I can work with clients all over the country. And yeah, so anyway, that is what I do. Give me a like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.